Hey everyone, this is John Gillie with TruckTractorTrailer.com. Thanks for tuning into our stream podcast, your go-to podcast for everything trucking with expert insights to help you run your business, navigate challenges, capture opportunities, or simply spark a new idea. I'm really excited about today's guest, Ryan Sullivan, founder of Ratchet Ventures, a firm specializing in helping early-stage supply chain technology companies scale through strategic leadership and go-to-market expertise. Ryan is going to tell us how Ratchet Ventures empowers businesses like yours to navigate the complexity of AI adoption, ensuring they scale intelligently and sustainably. Hey, Ryan, how are you?
Doing great, John. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on and the kind words.
Yeah. Hey, someone told me the other day about AI, and I was talking about how TTT is going to embrace AI, and we're going to, we have a TTT concierge contact center that's ran by Heather Boma, and she is supported by high tech, high touch, several customer support folks, but also is augmenting our team with artificial intelligence. And this person asked me if I knew the opposite or the opposite of artificial intelligence. And I said, no. He goes, natural stupidity. So the opposite of AI is natural stupidity. And so I actually felt a little bit stupid when I couldn't answer him. But anyways, tell us about AI, the AI imperative, what's happening. And also tell us a little bit about you and your firm. Tell the audience. I certainly know, but tell the community.
Sure. So my firm, Ratchet Ventures, is a go-to-market consulting firm for early-stage tech or supply chain companies. Mm-hmm. My background, leading sales at a few companies that had really successful run-ups like Tive and Cubics. Long story short, I had 2 back-to-back runs after never being anything other than promoted, where I made numbers. Mm-hmm. And when the average lifespan of a head of sales was shorter than a running back in the NFL, I decided it was time to go out on my own and maybe lean into the stage fit areas that I had. So I started Ratchet Ventures, and we're doing everything from, there's some 3PL TMS where we're in the boardroom, we're managing the entire go-to-market team. And then there's other visibility companies where they may have product market fit in one area and they're trying to scale to others. So that's kind of what we do and how we got here. And the introduction of AI into my world was mostly out of survival. Truthfully, I kind of got started, scaled too fast, had hired people, and it was a necessary evil at that point to survive and to support my customers and make sure they got good results. And it's interesting. So same here, leading TTT, our value proposition is to help, big fleets that have hundreds of millions and billions of dollars of assets on their balance sheet to liquidate their out of service assets faster and cheaper, better, faster. And also on the buy side, people coming in, they want to buy cheaper, better, faster. The only way that we're going to survive is especially for a small cap mid company like TTT, is to embrace technology, certainly AI. So we're excited about it. We probably know more than most teams, organizations, and we know nothing, but we certainly know. I think we know more than anything. And I think part of the mindset, the challenge is just having an open mind in a curious approach to AI. And I think from your perspective, that's the challenge that you're trying to overcome, help a CEO navigate those changes. You couldn't be more right. And it's in W-2 roles, I've always felt I was too busy to slow down and be strategic. So I made a conscious effort to do this. And my initial learnings were, I would say, hey, go automate all of these things, enrich all of these things that I wasn't doing today. And I wasted probably 2 months and thousands of dollars trying to get AI to build a process for me. And it just made it so clear to me that it's an accelerant, but there's still you still have to do the work and kind of know what you're doing in order to get the output that you're looking for.
And I also think you need a roadmap and an owner of that roadmap to navigate. That's why I love about Ratchet Ventures. I also love about our own consulting practice, Power. is, and we're not competitors. We're in this gigantic trucking and transportation market, but the sector of the market that you're focused on is way different than the market that we're focused on. But I think our approach is the same. The process is relatively the same. You have to take people from point A to point B, and with the understanding that it's not going to be an end all. It never ends, right? Technology improvement never ends. This is not a one and done thing. In fact, AI, I think, if you look at chat and you look at all the AI companies that are coming online, it's constant stream of improvement and learning, and rapidly. Yeah.
Well, and it's going so fast. I mean, I can't remember, in the 15 years or so that I've been in software and technology, I can't remember a time where anything felt like it was moving as fast as this is, where on a month-to-month basis, I feel like I figure it out, and the following month something new comes out, or there's a new Claude or new GPT level, or agents do this, and that was part of what I didn't understand initially, was just the difference between what is automation versus what is AI versus what is an agent. And to me, that level of understanding of automation being I have business rules basically that I can automate, AI being I have business rules that I need to enrich with something, and an agent being a totally independent thing to go out there and do an activity like log something in HubSpot or whatever. 3 months ago, I didn't have the deepest knowledge in that. And agents have changed in 3 months dramatically. So it's crazy.
I guess for me as a business owner, leading TTT, first of all, I'm supported by an incredible team. That makes my job a lot easier. My role is to see what's coming around the corner, play where's the market going to be 3, 4, 5 years from now? That's where what's the gravitational pull? And I do believe it's AI. I do believe it's agents. I do believe it's going to be a perfect blend of high tech and high touch. I hope it ends there. I hope it's not 100% high tech. I believe in autonomous things. I believe in user experience online, very seamless. But I think business would be so broken and boring if it was just automated and there didn't have personalities. It didn't have people, right? I don't know. I think that people will always be at the center of a business. But I think it's augmentation. I think you were talking about is that AI is simply an accelerant, helps us move faster and better and perhaps flawlessly.
Well, I mean, I absolutely agree. I mean, I saw something interesting the other day that this AI SDR company had raised some crazy number, 50, 100 million on a Series A. And the same day, the founder was out there saying in a press release, we do not have product market fit yet. This does not work broadly for everyone. So I think there's exceptions, but in most use cases for where we are, automation and injecting AI into your process, or finding ways like we built a team of myself and 2 additional customer service resources, we were basically able to automate the role of one and then use AI to understand our business and coach this other person that has 1 or 2 years of experience to be an expert in Zapier and all of these different tools. So I think there does need to be guardrails around it at this point. And I think for the future, what I like about what you're doing with AI and what I'm trying to do, I think the way this scales is through niche data and accessibility. Like I had AI integrated into my Amex account, then I would automatically have it do my expense reports without having to prompt it to do anything. So this is really where we're focused, is like, how do we package up this best practices we've developed at these companies, the current process and problems a company has, and how do we inject and integrate, create workflow automation that we then inject AI into different points of it, both for enrichment, say, of content, but more importantly, on the back end, a feedback loop to say, this works for these type of people and it doesn't work for these type of people, and, continuing to iterate and feed the model.
Yeah, you're giving me a lot of things to think about. I heard something, likewise read this, that, don't worry about AI. AI is not going to take your job. They're not going to be your competitor. It's the person using AI in their work that's going to take your job, or the company, your competitor that's embracing AI. They're the ones that are going to beat you. So I think it's a false choice to think that we can ignore it. It's like any other technology. I love telling the story. I'm old enough to be around the .com bust, but I remember this little company. I was in LA at the time, and this little company was coming out of the Bay Area that had this idea that you could search for things on the internet, and they were charging $500 a person to come in and teach you how to use their tool. And I was part of a group of 10, and we paid $5,000 to spend a day to learn how to use the internet to search for things. That little company was Google, and Google was charging us basically $500 a head to learn how to use their search bar. Now you think about that. That wasn't a million years ago. That was 25, 26 years ago. And look how now chat is challenging Google because it's bigger and it's better and it's free. Of course, not charging $500 a head now. If we want to learn anything with technology, sometimes we can just ask one of our 20-year-olds on the team. They probably know it because they were born with technology. Or we go to YouTube, which is a Google product, and watch a video on how to learn how to do something. But I think we're already using AI in a lot of ways. We just don't know how to monetize it. That's why I think experts like you, or how can I say this, professionals like yourself and your firm that are dedicated to this area I think you got a job for the next 20 years, because I do think it's going to be broad-based adoption, but I think it's going to take time.
Yeah. I mean, I generally agree to your point on the sentiment of AI is going to take people's jobs.
Yeah.
I've been called too blunt at times. It's kind of my gift and my curse. And while it's not the most PC phrase, I always say, like, an alcoholic needs to say they're an alcoholic before they get better. So I certainly am a believer in kind of trying to, on a personal level, be as self-aware as possible and deal with my current conditions. Yeah. In my mind, not everyone is at risk, certainly not. But I do think we're at a period where, if you see Fiverr, for example, just did a press release to all of their people talking about the risks and what it means for their job, and that AI is not an optional thing for them to be using in their day-to-day. I think organizations need to start with a culture of empowering AI utilization. If I am in a job that is easily replaceable, I'm thrilled right now that I have a totally new opportunity. I have domain knowledge that is specific to my company that other people may not have, where I could be at the forefront and demonstrate that, I could not only demonstrate that I could automate on my own before my company does 80% of what I do, but now I have 80% bandwidth to do additional things. And whether that is I've become the process engineer for AI, or whether that is I am in a role where it allows me capacity to, have deeper influence on the current state. I view some of the responsibility for that fear to be on employees of companies. Is we all know that there's at least a threat. We could argue about when and how big, but we all have a choice to make as to, how we want to deal with, that feeling and those conditions.
So the deeper we get into the conversation, I'm thinking about your business, and I also think about our customer base too, as we're helping them navigate to, selling used trucks, tractors, and trailers online. If you go to TTT today, trucktractortrailer.com, see about 250 units. We're not Carvana, but we simulate them. We have duplicated processes. We can help buyers and sellers, arrive at a win-win price, and then we can arrange for financing, insurance, and delivery of the asset, much like a Carvana experience.
Yep.
It's very interesting. We have a $275,000 hydrogen truck right now on the site for sale, right? that's in the middle of Iowa. So just think about that. That wasn't possible a couple of years ago. A little company like TTT would be an asset that large and so valuable and so unique, right? But here we are, and just think about where we're going to be 6 months from now. So I agree with you, Ryan, and I think part of your gig is also going to be like therapist, right? Helping old guys like me running these businesses navigate what's coming, and then helping us, and I'm talking us like I'm your client base, maybe I could be, right? Helping us navigate the next 6 to 18 months to position us for long-term success.
Yeah, and I mean, with your comment on the hydrogen truck, you clearly are already, to my point about considering the future constraints and where you think we're going to be and making the plan off that based off what fear could make people shut down, to be in the spot you are. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you've been doing that. I do think something that helps me that's kind of strange is I think I was in 7th grade, maybe 6th grade when the internet changed off of the phone line to, how it is today. And so I think that does give me some perspective. Granted, I was not a mature adult, but as to what life was like before, which is part of why I'm like, geez, I need to slow down and figure this out. Because if I think about the similar things, the internet, crypto, all of these things, hey, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It has. So regarding the therapist side, I mean, I've been really, really fortunate to have a ton of experience with first-time CEOs. And as someone who's been a CEO of a company we raised money for when I was 23 and manufactured, it ended horribly, but manufactured experience that I never ever could have gotten otherwise. I think it gives me a really good perspective in that people like you, maybe not you, but CEOs of companies that are doing it for the first time, it's easy for everyone to look at them and say, what do we do next? What am I supposed to do? Hey, what's going to happen next month? And not have the awareness that every day might be the biggest business and the furthest traction anyone's ever gotten. So when you really reinforce that in your brain, you start to come to people with solutions or problems and solutions. And, I find that in itself leads to some of the therapist sessions, but we're all afraid. We're all risking it as, business owners. And, if we put our heads down and do the work and, do the right things, it usually turns out okay.
Yeah. Plan the work and work the plan to win, not to lose, but to win.
Yep.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I've only been an entrepreneur for probably 8 years. Before that, I had a long corporate career and, mostly changing jobs every 2 years within the same companies, but getting promoted or taking on bigger challenges, in big internal startups, new initiatives, turnarounds, startups. That was my forte. And I think it prepared me for this, to be an entrepreneur. But quite honestly, it's hard. It's hard to start something from just an idea to monetize it. Knock on wood, this year we're up about 400% over prior year. We're making money. It's unheard of for a startup software supported platform, two-sided marketplace to be making money in any market. But we've done it. We've survived the hard stuff. But now it's I'm not going to say the hard work is behind us. It's not. I think the hard work is ahead of us. But now we have a clear path to this better place, and it's exciting. Because I think AI for a small business owner, that's 100% virtual team, no need for a physical domain. So we're kind of built for these times. I think TTT has been waiting for this moment because AI, if anything else, it's the great equalizer too. Because now we can compete head on with the big guys and eat their lunch. Because AI helps us become better, cheaper, better, faster. And we have very little overhead compared to the overhead of the brick and mortars in these old school businesses. that have to dismantle things as they migrate to the cloud or migrate to an AI-like world. They can't do it because they have all this brick and mortar on their balance sheet that they've been borrowing against for decades.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have that burden.
Right.
We have our return on net assets, our RONA, is significant compared to our competitors. Why? We really don't have a big asset base, right? It's a cash-based business. It's kind of a an organization of the future. So we're excited about AI. We're excited.
Yeah. I mean, I love when you like it being an equalizer. That's so really the truth as to other than the survival of driving results for my customers. Well, I'm a very competitive person. It doesn't mean I'm wishing poorly on anybody else, but I want to beat everyone. I mean, that's the reality. I want to be the best at whatever I do. And so I launched this thing and I'm looking at some of these other people that are doing it. And I'm thinking jealousy creeps in. And I'm like, how are they doing better than I am? Or at least they're presenting that way.
Yeah.
I don't really have customers. And so I leveraged my network primarily from my initial customers. And then in doing so, I was like, well, if I'm going to do this for a long time, that's not the only way that I'm going to be doing it. So then I started to think about like, well, why do I feel that? What is it that they're presenting or doing? And then as I start going through it, I realized, okay, they're much better at using AI than I am. And that was part of the catalyst of like, I know based on experience level that I'm more experienced than these people. That doesn't make me better, but why can I not position myself like they can? And that was part of, the realization. So to your point on being the equalizer, if I can tell you someone that worked for me in the last 5 years, that's probably the best salesperson that I've ever come across. Hardest working person, hammers the phones, really cares about his customers succeeding and about being successful. He told me 3 months ago he's never logged into ChatGPT. And all I'm saying to him is I was like, man, you're better than, these other people, but your window is shrinking because they could just take all your emails, copy them, put them in my voice. There's going to be auto dialers that simulate a lot of the good things that you're doing. So what's important starts to change. Like your brand identity as a human, imagine everything is automated. I get 10,000 emails and 7,000 LinkedIn messages per day. Right. And, these spam text messages that are the ones that really drive me crazy.
Crazy.
But who do you answer at that point? You answer the people that you are familiar with, that you trust. And like, I really think that people need to think broadly about how they define relationships. Like traditionally, people would say, oh, I have relationships. And it's like, well, what does that mean? It's like, well, they like me. Yeah. I don't know that may be enough in some scenarios to get you in the door or get a meeting, but I don't hang out with, or I wouldn't say I like my accountant. But I have an incredible relationship with my accountant. They do work I don't want to do, I'm not good at, and there is a time and monetary benefit to me, and I trust them. They've done it over time. Yeah. If we think through those contexts and around adding value, I think that's going to be really important go-to-market lesson some are going to learn the hard way as they do try and automate everything.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about accountants, and I've had the same tax. Joe Matheson. Hey, Joe, shout out to you. Doing our taxes for the next 10 years. I have not, full disclosure, have not talked to Joe about AI or anything. But, if I look at Intuit and QuickBooks and their tax practice and their automated avatars that speak to you like a real human being, and then we partner with a company that does our financial reporting and our balance sheet. It's not AI, but I know they're using AI, and they make it so easy for us to leverage them. And they're able to deliver high value, high touch service through weekly 10-minute meetings. Yep. We literally meet with them 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes a week. And they handle our bookkeeping for us. And because we have all these little tools that we use to communicate with each other. And it's not, I guess it is AI. It could be automated. And I'm also thinking now about our development ops group, DevOps group, Janelle. Hey, Janelle group. Solomon Mori is our lead developer on TTT. Likewise, we probably have a deep personal trusting relationship with them, most of our partners. Yet I can't think of one meeting I have, a repeatable meeting each week, even with my own team, that's scheduled for more than 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It enables me to have these working relationships, but I think the technology and your tech platform, and I think too, Ryan, as you're going and assessing, CEOs, what is the CEO agenda, but also what does your tech stack look like, your MarTech stack, right? And you think about what could, we probably have, I'm going to say 25 apps, 25 different companies providing us stuff on our platform. Right. By the way, a lot of this stuff is cheap. Everything on the ground is expensive. Everything in the cloud is cheap in comparison to what's on the ground. Yep. So that is not going to go back. It's going to go.
It's going the other way.
Faster and cheaper, if not free.
Yeah, I'm here. I've never heard so many people tell me, so in software deals I'm representing my clients in, I have never heard more companies considering build versus buy than right now. And it could be global, competing against a global AI inventory management system and workflow analysis, or aggregation of IoT devices with recommended actions, or even 3PL TMS. All of a sudden, I'm a big focus guy. I'm like, whatever you're doing, be great at it. So this initially, when I heard it, it hurt me a little inside. I'm going, you're a transportation company. That is amazing. I'm not taking anything away from that. But managing software and building software and scoping and the productization is harder. In the last 10 years, we've seen a lot of companies try and convert from 3PL to tech companies not go particularly well. However, to your point of the equalizer, I mean, my brother-in-law is non-technical and wrote a crypto trading app that does day trading, leveraging AI to do all of the coding. So that, subject matter expertise of how do I actually build a software product is now $20 a month through, or whatever, if you have ChatGPT Pro or whatever, the how-to instructions. Fact that a bot could train a person that is on my team that has 2 years of professional experience to become a Zapier workflow and quasi coder in 6 months, just shows that if you're asking the right questions, there are incredible opportunities. And I still think everyone should buy software. Go buy all supply chain tech software. It's great. But I don't want to buy Power BI because I want to just hook ChatGPT up to, some different inputs and have it just do the reporting that I want freeform. That wasn't an option 5 years ago. Right. Oh, the options we're going to have. Just think about, I'm sitting here thinking about TTT, and I always say, geez, I wish I had built truck, tractor, trailer when I was younger. Well, guess what? You couldn't have. No one would have used your service. You didn't have the tools and the technology back then. It's here right now. Our moment is now, and then the next 10 years of growth and development. Good stuff. Ryan, you and I could talk on this forever. Let's agree to schedule a second call, continue the conversation. Well, let me ask you, how can people get a hold of you? How can we promote you and Ratchet? Sure. Best way to reach me is LinkedIn, Ryan Sullivan, or ryan.sullivan@ratchetventures.com by email. Most of what I'm doing is with early stage supply chain tech companies between the seed and B range, ranging from strategic stuff to execution. And recently, going back to my build versus buy comment, I have 2 projects I'm currently quoting that involve 3PLs and freight forwarders that are actually looking for someone like me to help support AI initiatives, tech vendors, and be involved in the product side of their business. So happy to help either way and make connections where possible. So thanks for having me on, John. Excellent, Ryan. And we will have you on again. And thank you for being a huge supporter of TTT. We look forward to having you on again. So, hey, trucking TTT community,
I know there's about 200,000 plus of you out there. Well, hopefully you're all going to hit that subscribe button, but please have fun, make some money, and stay safe. Take care.